Kim Clear,
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of Mill Creek Township Supervisor in Mill Creek Township, Erie County, with fidelity. Congratulations, Mill Creek Township Supervisor Kim Clear. Thank you very much. After the reorganization meeting, I do have a little reception out there with some goodies and some coffee and juice. So please help yourself. I would like to call the reorganizational meeting to order at 9:01 on January 3rd. Okay, the first item on our agenda is the election of the temporary chairman, and I would like to nominate James Bach.
I'll second that nomination.
Okay. Any comment? Okay.
You can call for a
We
vote.
could call for a vote. I'd like to call for a vote. Okay, thank you.
I vote yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought we had someone that called the vote. Oh, I get louder.
There you go.
Mr. Ouellette, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach?
I vote yes.
Kim Clear votes yes. Oh. Okay, I would like to now call this meeting to order.
Okay. I would actually call the meeting to order.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bach.
No problem. January 3rd, 2022 annual organizational meeting of the Mill Creek Township Board of Supervisors to order, and I would ask you stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time I would like to make a motion to nominate Dan Ouellette for the election position of chairman.
Second?
Call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Ouellette?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Well, I hand the meeting over to the chairman, Mr. Ouellette.
Thank you, Mr. Bach. Okay, next up on the agenda would be the nomination for the vice chairman position, and I would nominate Jim Bach as the vice chairman.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is the appointment of the Township Secretary, Cheryl Williams. Is there a motion?
So moved?
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Item 7 is the Township Treasurer, Mark Zakshewski. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved?
And a second?
Second?
Okay. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Appointment of the Township Engineer, Ann Sokol. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second?
Mrs. Claire?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is the appointment of the Township Solicitor, McDonald, Illig, Jones, and Britton, with Mark Shaw Esquire as the principal contact. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Second here.
Very good. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes.
Number 10 on our agenda is a Municipal Administrator of Public Works. I move that Daniel Olet be appointed to the employee position of Municipal Administrator, Public Works, with oversight of the Department of Public Works and Department of Planning and Development, and the Board's liaison to the Fire and Emergency Service Commission, Planning Commission, Zoning Hearing Board, and Chairman of the Safety Committee.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item number 11, Municipal Administrator of the Township Operations and Services. I'd like to move that Jim Bach be appointed to the employee position of Municipal Administrator, Township Operations and Services, with oversight of the Department of Administration, Department of Public Services, and Department of Parks and Recreation. Will also be the Board's liaison to the Parks and Recreation Committee and the Recycling Advisory and Education Committee.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Item number 12 is the Municipal Administrator of Public Safety.
I move that Kim Clear be appointed to the employee position of Municipal Administrator Public Safety, with oversight of the Mill Creek Police Department and the Department of Emergency Management.
And I'll second that motion. Mrs. Clear, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item number 13 is the delegate and alternate delegate to the 2022 PSATS State Conference.
I move that Daniel Olet be appointed the Township's delegate and Kim Clear the Township's alternate delegate to the 2022 PSATS Conference, each in their capacities as municipal administrators.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Item number 14 is a representative and alternate representative to ECATO Executive Committee for 2022. I would move that James Bach be appointed the Township's representative, and Daniel Olet and Kim Clear be appointed alternate representatives in their capacity as municipal administrators to the Executive Committee of ECATO for 2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 15 is representative and alternate representatives to the Erie Area Council of Governments.
I move that Kim Clear in her capacity as municipal administrator and Daniel Olet and Rob Donikowski in their capacities as public municipal administrators and public works director, respectively, be appointed the Township's representative and alternate representatives to the Erie Area Council of Governments for 2022.
And I will second that also. Mrs. Clear, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Item 16 is a representative and alternate representative to the Lake Erie Coastal Zone Advisory Committee for 2022. Mr. Bach?
I move that Director of Planning and Development Matthew Waldinger and Emma George, professional engineer, be appointed respectively the representative and alternate representative to the Lake Erie Coastal Zone Advisory Committee for 2022.
Second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 17 is the voting representative number 1 and alternate to the Erie Metropolitan Planning Organization.
I move that Kim Clear in her capacity as municipal administrator and Emma George, professional engineer, be appointed respectively voting representative number 1 and alternate to the Erie Metropolitan Planning Organization, the Erie MPO, coordinating committee for 2022.
And I will second that. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 18 is voting representative number 2 and alternate to the Erie Metropolitan Planning Organization.
I move that Director of Planning and Development Matthew Waldinger and John Sebesta, Professional Engineer, be appointed respectively voting representative number 2 and alternate to the Erie Metropolitan Planning Organization Coordinating Committee for 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Item 19 is the voting representative and alternate to the Erie Metropolitan Planning Organization Technical Advisory Committee.
I move that Planning and Development Director Matthew Waldinger and Kim Clear, in her capacity as Municipal Administrator, be appointed respectively voting representative and alternate to the Erie Metropolitan Planning Organization Technical Advisory Committee for 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Item 20 is establishing a bond for the treasurer for 2022 at $1 million. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Item 21, I'd like to move to approve the following fund depositories for 2022 and to authorize the following signatures: James Bach, Daniel Olet, and Kim Clear.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. I should read those fund depositories too real quick, so we have those on record. The 2022 fund depositories will be the PNC Bank, First National Bank of Pennsylvania, Citizens Bank, Northwest Savings, Neuberger Berman Private Equity Fund, Gannett Welsh and Kotler, Vanguard International Growth Fund, DFA International Core Fund, Multi-Employer Property Trust, Erie Bank, PA Local Government Investment Trust. Those will be our fund deposits for the upcoming year. The next item would be approval of the following insurance carriers for 2022, and they will be as follows. The Trust Agreement of Municipal Risk Management, the MRM Trust for Workers' Compensation, Volunteer Fire Department Workers' Compensation through AmTrust Insurance, Property, General Liability, Automobile, and Professional Liability will be through Zurich Insurance, and our cybersecurity coverage will be through Crum and Forster Insurance. Is there a motion to approve the insurance carriers?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. I move that the Township Secretary provide to the Board of Auditors written notice of the appointments of the municipal administrators and their respective employee responsibilities, and also confirm the board's establishment of bond for the treasurer in the amount fixed. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay. And Mr. Bach?
Second.
Okay. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, I move to appoint and reappoint the following people to serve on the following commissions or committees as follows. The Board of Appeals and Fire Code, Ed Betza, Esquire. Erie County Tax Collection Committee, Mark Zakshesky would be the delegate, Melanie Page, first alternate, James Bach, second alternate. Fire and Emergency Services Commission, Randy Lakowski. Parks and Recreation Commission, the Township School Board appointed Gary Winchell and Sally Newsham to that commission. Mill Creek Planning Commission would be Pete Cabella and Ray Reed as the alternate. The Recycling Education and Advisory Committee, Steve Cornelius, Carl Kronmiller, Janine Fennell, Kenneth Fromnecht, Dina James, Mary Beth Santucci, Maria Spagnola, Jessica Stutzman, Sean Stutzman, and Judy Zelina. The UCC Appeals Board, David Rhodes Esquire would be the solicitor. The Vacancy Board, Reverend John Dedish from St. Jude's Church. And the Zoning Hearing Board, we have one vacancy still. Reappointed would be Robert Tanner, Jacqueline Spry as the alternate, and Jeremy Toman, Esquire, as the solicitor. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. Okay, the regular meeting schedule for the Township Supervisors for 2022 will be as follows. Supervisors will be meeting the second Tuesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. except on January 3rd, April 5th, November 15th, and December. And on the fourth Tuesday of each month at 5:30 p.m. except on December 20th. There will be one meeting in December on Tuesday, December 20th at 5:30 p.m. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
In a second.
Second?
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, that concludes our reorganization agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Meeting's adjourned at 9:15. Thank you, everyone. And Mrs. Clear, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
Good morning, everyone. We'll call the regular meeting of the Mill Creek Township Board of Supervisors to order. Would you please rise for the pledge to the flag? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being televised live online via Go Live via youtube.com at Mill Creek Township /meetings and recorded by WQLN for viewing on Spectrum Channel 1024 and youtube.com with closed captioning. Members of the public may attend in person in the General Assembly Room. Persons who wish to offer testimony at any hearing or to offer comments during the public comment portion of the meeting but who do not wish to attend in person must contact the Township Secretary, Cheryl Williams, at 833-1111, no later than 24 hours before the scheduled meeting to make arrangements to participate via telephone. Ms. Williams, anybody made arrangements? Okay, thank you. Item 3, we'll call on, is there any public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications? Dennis, come on up.
I guess as the only representative of the public, I'd like to put on record, I thank welcome Kid Clear to the township. That's it. So hopefully the rest of the public feels that way, but that's it.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Item 4 is approval of the minutes from the December 14th regular meeting. Any comments or questions on the minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to approval of the bills. Any comments or questions on the bills? Okay, if not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to bids and quotations. First one would be the Loveland Culvert Replacement Change Order Number 1, Public Works. Mr. Donikowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The culvert under Loveland Avenue just south of West 26th Street was found to be in danger of failure and was put out for bid. The Township Union was in agreement with this decision. The original contract was awarded on September 24th, 2021 for the amount of $43,362.70. The project was held up due to the pipe being back ordered and ultimately delaying the delivery of the pipe. This caused it to run past the completion date for paving. The contractor put a temporary concrete patch in the road for the winter. This work order is for the temporary patch in the amount of $4,103.97. The township is holding a retainer on this contract to pay for the concrete to be removed and the asphalt to be placed in the spring. Engineering and Public Works recommend the approval of this change order. Monies will be paid out of the Streets Department ARPA reserve.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from the board?
Rob, I have just a question about, it said it was delayed, the pipe.
Yes.
Who, was that due to the fact there was like a supply issue?
Yes,
or
yes.
So it was ordered by the contractor?
It was ordered by us, the township.
Okay. Okay, and we ordered it in due time?
Yes.
Just, okay, thank you.
Any other comments from the board? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is Velocity Net Equipment and Services. Mr. Zakshevsky?
Yes, this is for, let me make sure you can see. Okay, this is for antivirus and there's some VNet security monitoring as well. There's an installation of $1,500 for that. This is to protect our computer systems on a contract with VelocityNet for security services, including antivirus, email security, privilege management software, security operations center services, and the installation of all that. The total cost of the project is going to be $5,300, $51.25. That's for a 12-month recurring project. This is an annual contract.
Okay.
Mark, is this for the entire,
That's for the entire township network,
okay, including police?
including police.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if I should ask permission to speak. Just a very quick question. Do we take other bids for this kind of work? Is there like a formal bidding process?
We haven't for this particular project. One, it's a small dollar of value, being less than $11,000. Also, too, it's considered a professional service, so therefore bids aren't required. And they maintain so much of our network operation that sometimes it might be a bit difficult finding a different vendor because a lot of this stuff runs on their systems.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have another question. It looks like there's several quotes here from VNet.
Well, now there are three projects that are to be approved. The first one is the security services. The second one is the network separation project.
Okay.
And then the third one is PCs and monitors.
Are we voting on all those today?
Yes, each one individually.
Okay. So the,
Or you could do it as one, but they're each individual projects.
okay, so the one, there's a lot of documents here, that's.
Yeah, the first one, I think there's a total of 6 pages.
Yes, is that the one for $5,415?
Yes.
Okay, that's the one we just approved.
Well, you haven't actually approved it yet.
Okay,
That's the one that's under discussion.
okay, and then are we gonna be moving on to the other?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the first quote with VNet.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Mark, you want to move on to the next one?
Sure. The next one is the network separation project. This is being requested by Chris Folson, and the goal of this is to separate the police network from the township network. There are a variety of reasons for that. Some of them have to do with FBI recommendations from a review that they did, that isolating the networks is an important step for preventing cyber attacks. And so they were, this is being done in order to complete that portion of the recommendation. There's some hardware in terms of, what is it? And there's labor. There's labor. Sonic wall, that's a firewall. It's going to have its own separate firewall, and that is a total of $34.15. The actual firewall itself, the hardware, is $29.65, and then there's a license fee for the VPN licenses at $450. And then there's $2,000 worth of labor to set up the separate firewall and to separate the two networks. So the total project cost is, sorry, this takes a while to skim through. 5415. And this is budgeted.
Okay. Any comments from the board on the second part of this proposal? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Mark, you have a third?
Yes, the third one is also with VNUT. This is for computers, replacement computers and monitors for the police department, which are scheduled for, this is also in the budget. The total, let's see, what did we get? 10 PCs and 10 monitors, for total package price of $13,340. And that is it for that. That is also a budgeted item in the police budget for 2022.
Okay, any comments or questions from the board? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. That takes care of that portion, right, Mark? For velocity?
I think there's one more.
One more.
Is there? Okay.
It's the voice and fiber service is the final piece of this. And let's see, what's this total?
I think it's a 700.
Yeah, it looks like it's about $791.65. These are, is these backup lines, Chief?
I'm sorry?
The voice and fiber services? Or are those radio communications?
No, I believe that is with the separation. There's issues with the phone
Okay,
service within the township. I believe that's the case.
so this would be for providing lines to the police department separate from the lines for the...
Yeah, there's some equipment that I believe is needed to do that separation.
Okay. And then the same would be true with the fiber optic for internet access.
Yes, and if I'm not mistaken, some of it has to do with the servers being at their location and having the contact with the servers off-site.
Okay. So the total of that project is $791.65.
Thanks, Mark. Any comments from the board?
Gentlemen, if I may, it appears that's the $791.65 is a monthly fee, just, it's not a one-time fee. Just want to make that clear for the record.
It is a monthly fee for 36 months. Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Was that also budgeted, the?
Yes.
For the, okay, so it's in the budget for the?
Yep.
2028,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved?
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Buck?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, next item would be the Windstream contract renewal. Mark?
Yeah, the initial term of the contract with Windstream to provide telephone service to the township is expiring on 12/31, and they were asking us to renew, and they had a variety of options for various terms, and offering discounts based on the length of the term. I would recommend that we would re-up the contract for 36 months because we need the township, we need the phone service. And it's a little bit confusing because we should actually have had the actual contract in hand, but we can't seem to get our hands on it, and we didn't get the actual agreement, but it's a renewal of an existing agreement. So, and the initial contract was for 60 months, I don't want to go quite that long because I want to see what kind of options we have available a little bit further down the road to make sure that everything that Windstream is providing is entirely necessary and we can't do better elsewhere. But this is the township's phone service.
Does VNet provide phone service too?
Yes.
We have some separate lines in case one of them goes down for our communication center, that we have a secondary option that we can switch to.
Okay. I'm just wondering why we didn't go with VNet for this portion as well, or if we,
Probably because it would have required reprogramming the phone server.
okay,
And so it's not just a simple switch
Yeah.
the lines kind of thing.
gotcha.
Because they also provide support for the phone server.
Okay.
I would have preferred to see the contract, have that in hand, Mark.
That's fine.
My proposal would be that we would table this particular action until we have that in hand, and
Okay.
possibly for the next meeting.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we table.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's
No.
okay.
Discussion.
No, I was just looking at, the document we have in front of us says there's a couple credits here, right?
Yes.
One-time credits, but it doesn't really stipulate what our actual charges will be. Or am I missing?
No, and those, that credit is amount, if they were to apply it all in one bill, would be, we wouldn't pay bills for a couple of months. It's not that big of a bill to begin
I
with.
gotcha, okay.
So I'm not quite sure exactly how they apply that credit. If they're going to do it monthly over the 36 months or whatever term that you would select, that would seem to make the most sense.
Do you know offhand what our monthly fee is, ballpark, or?
I think it's around $1,400 a month.
Okay,
Because it gets split up amongst all the various departments.
right,
That's why it's harder to see individually. There's no, unless you went to the actual check.
okay.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we table this particular motion. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
I vote yes on tabling as well.
And I vote yes. Item 7 is new and amended ordinances under review. Ms. Caparosa?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As was discussed at the December 14th meeting, the township is currently considering a new zoning ordinance. We did hold a public meeting on December 6th to receive additional comments. We've received a number of comments since that meeting, and we have been having some internal meetings to review those comments. At this time, we are still reviewing those, and we do not have a firm timeline on when the zoning ordinance will come before the supervisors again.
Okay. Any comments or questions on that item?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would just like to thank our solicitors for the work, the diligent work that they've been doing on this. And I would also like to make sure that I have ample time to take a look at the proposal and the changes, et cetera. So I do want to make sure that I guess the public knows that I am aware of it. And I am looking forward to some discussions with the community, with the residents, the stakeholders really in this, and with our solicitors. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Moving on to item 8, ordinance 2021-1, stop signs at 22nd Street and Midland and 23rd and Midland. Ms. Caparosa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ordinance 2022-1 would be an ordinance to approve the removal of a yield sign at the intersection of West 23rd Street and Midland Drive, and approve the installation of stop signs on Midland Drive and West 22nd Street and West 23rd Street and Midland Drive. This was based on a township engineer study, and it was determined that traffic conditions warrant the installation of the stop signs. State law requires that a study and that an ordinance be passed to authorize the installation. So that is the purpose of this ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
do we know, have we had any residents that have expressed any concern about this? Anyone?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, we did receive at least one resident complaint concerning where the yield sign's located. A lot of people have really not been yielding, and so that was what prompted the township to send out John Sebesta to review the area and to do his engineering analysis.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to approve ordinance 2022-1?
So moved?
Is there a second?
I'll second Dan.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is Resolution 2022-R1, the 2022 Police Pension Contribution. Mark?
Yes, although this is stated in the collective bargaining agreement, apparently because of Act 600, the board needs to take formal action to adopt the percentage on an annual basis. There's no change in the contribution rate. It is once again 5.5% of the gross compensation of the member of the police force. And it's my recommendation that we approve so that it stays within compliance of the CBA and Act 600.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-R1.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is Resolution 2022-R2. Resolution pursuant to Resolution 2015-R20 and the Municipal Records Manual to approve proposed disposition of certain township records. And this month, the only item for approval would be the MPD dash cam videos deleted between January 4th, 2022 and January 25th, 2022 due to reaching the end of the required retention period. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved?
Is there a second?
I'll second Dan.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is Resolution 2022-R3, a resolution to amend the Mill Creek Township procedures for probable or confirmed COVID-19 cases. Ms. Caparosa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Recently, the CDC updated its guidance concerning isolation and quarantine periods as well as masking requirements. So we are updating the township's policy and procedures for probable and confirmed cases based on the CDC's guidance.
Okay. So this is pretty much in line with what we've been doing since the onset, is just
Correct.
maintaining what the CDC recommends?
Yes, the last update was in October of 2021 based on additional changes by the CDC for masking requirements and quarantine periods. And this just reflects the current CDC policy.
Okay. All right. Is there any comments or questions from the board on this? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 12 is authorization to file collection action on AR landscaping. Ms. Caparosa?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a request for authorization for us to file a collection action against, with the Magisterial District Justice against AR Landscape and Outdoor Service, Inc. for unpaid accounts at the Millfair Compost and Recycling Center. Letters were sent by the township from my office as well as from Ms. Stutzman requesting payment, and we've not received any response or payment. So we will request permission to pursue the unpaid balance, which is $3,421.45.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to communications, treasurer communications. Mark?
Yes, would like to obtain permission for Dan Olet and Kim Clear in their capacity as delegate and alternate delegate to the annual PSATS convention to be held in Hershey, Pennsylvania, April, I don't know, sometime latter part of April. I don't have the exact dates. And also myself, Kim, Supervisor Clear, Supervisor Olet, and Melanie Page, Assistant Treasurer, to attend the PELRAS conference at State College on March the 16th through the 18th. The cost of both of these conferences were included in the budget for 2022, and just seeking authorization for allowing them to attend, and then also to pay the expenses related thereto.
Thank you, Mark.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If I may, one member of my department would like to also attend. We haven't determined exactly who, the PSATS conference.
Okay,
That's right, because there's always an engineering piece to it.
Correct. We haven't determined the exact person who would attend, but I'd like authorization to send one of my staff.
okay. Thanks, Matt. Okay, any comments or questions from the board? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, moving on to hiring request, Parks and Recreation Department. Mr. Bach?
Thank you, Dan. Have a request from Ashley Marsteller, our Parks and Recreation Director, for winter season employee approvals. The listed employees and volunteers are requested to be approved for the winter 2022 season. These employees and volunteers are essential to carrying out the winter recreational offerings of the Parks and Recreation Department. Part-time employee wages are accounted for in the Parks and Recreation Department's operational budget. Previous version of this document was approved on 12/14/2021. However, this new version reflects the 2022 increase in pay rates of a 0.85% increase, as previously approved by the Board of Supervisors. Ashley Marsteller is requesting approval for these employees. Classes, the winter session begins the week of today, January 3rd, 2022. Various employees in adult fitness, adult leisure, children's programs, the Asbury Barnes supervisor, and volunteers with different programs. I'd like to make a motion for this to be approved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is the hiring of a streets maintenance laborer. His name is Terry Schnars. His date of hire will be tomorrow, January 4th, 2022, at a starting rate of $20.38 per hour. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to training requests. Chief Height.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm seeking approval to allow one officer to attend training sponsored by the Warren County Drug Task Force in Warren, PA on January 17th. Total cost for this training will be $225 registration fee, which would come out of the 2022 training expense operations budget.
Thank you, Chief. Any comments or questions from the board? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item up is the Christmas tree recycling. Mr. Bach.
Okay, we have the Christmas tree recycling, curbside, and drop-off. Waste Management will be collecting live Christmas trees curbside on Mill Creek residents' regular trash and recycle collection day during the week of January 10th through the 14th. Trees will be composted at the Mill Fair Compost Center instead of being sent to a local landfill. All live trees should have the tree stands, tinsel, ornaments, and decorations removed prior to being placed for curbside collection.
Thank you.
Do we want to announce the hours? It looks like the center will reopen the doors for several days in January for Erie County residents and businesses looking to properly dispose of their trees. Monday through Thursday, again, January 10th through the 13th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Mill Fair Compost Recycling Center, 2301 Mill Fair Road.
Thank you, Mr. Bach.
You bet.
Executive session was held on December 20th to review various legal issues. Ms. Caparosa, anything under solicitor communications?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We received a letter from Supervisor Kim Clear this morning directed to the Board of Supervisors requesting that she be included in any group life, health, hospitalization, medical service, and accident insurance plans offered by the township. This does not require any action by the supervisors at this time. It's just a request.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to citizens to be heard. Any citizens to be heard? Okay, hearing
Anyone?
none.
Hi, Dennis.
Anything further from the board?
Happy
Mr.
New
Chairman,
Year.
Yes.
I just want to say again what an honor it is to be here with all of you fine people. I am so excited to be working with you all. I could have said this probably when there were people here, but I actually would have been, a year ago, I thought I would have been teaching Shakespeare today. Hamlet and Macbeth, 11th and 12th graders. And I was thinking last night as I was preparing for today, and very nervous, by the way, I was thinking about they're both tragedies, which is slightly ironic. However, I hope the next 6 years to be maybe a history or comedy of the different kinds of Shakespearean plays. But anyway, I am so happy to be here. I'm excited about what we get to do every day together. So thank you very much, and I'm anxious to work with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. And again, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, meeting's adjourned at 10:03.